Hello! NAKIVO Backup and Replication for MSPs is built for managed service providers who need to protect and manage multiple remote client environments from a single centralized platform. Available with a dedicated MSP license, the solution supports multi-tenant deployments and includes features tailored to MSP operations, like the MSP console and MSP Direct Connect. I've already covered the MSP console in a previous video. Now let's focus on MSP Direct Connect and walk through its setup together. MSP Direct Connect allows seamless, secure access to remote client environments without the need for VPNs or manual port configuration in the remote site. This is ideal when maintaining a persistent VPN between the MSP data center and client site isn't possible or preferred. To start using this feature, you need a multi-tenant deployment of NAKIVO Backup and Replication, which is your NAKIVO Director instance. If you haven't installed the solution yet, you can check our video on how to do that. Log into your web interface of NAKIVO Backup and Replication. Select the tenant, navigate to the tenant's settings, and click Nodes. Click the Downloads button, and then Direct Connect Transporter for Windows or for Linux. In the pop-up window, enter the hostname or IP address of the machine where the director is installed. The IP address must be accessible from the internet. You can use a public hostname or set up port forwarding on your router or firewall. Enter the port number used to connect to the director. Like the IP address or hostname, the port should also be publicly accessible. Select the Direct Connect user whose credentials will authenticate the transporter when it tries to establish a secure connection with the director. If you don't already have Direct Connect users, you can easily add one by clicking Create Direct Connect User. On the Add Local User screen, enter a username, name, and password. Confirm the password and click Next. I won't change any settings in the second step. Finally, click Finish to save the settings and create the user. When ready, click the Download button to download the Direct Connect Transporter installation file. This installation must be performed in the remote environment where the tenant's infrastructure is located. Transfer the downloaded file to that environment and run it on the remote machine. Locate the installer file and launch it. During installation, create the master password and accept the license agreement, then click Install. Once installed, the transporter will automatically appear in the MSP Director interface. To accept the transporter, select the Direct Connect Transporter on the Node's dashboard. Click the three dots icon next to the pending status and hit Accept. Enter the master password you set during installation and click Accept. When a message is displayed, accept the certificate. Go to Settings, Inventory. Click the plus sign to add new items to the NAKIVO Backup and Replication inventory. You can now use the previously accepted Direct Connect Transporter to discover VMware vSphere, Hyper-V, Windows and Linux physical machines on the remote machine. Select the needed platform and type in the Add Inventory Item wizard. You may now select the Direct Connect checkbox at the Options step of the wizard and specify the IP address of the previously accepted Direct Connect Transporter. You can then run backup, replication, and recovery jobs without needing any firewall changes or port forwarding on the customer side. If you want to perform data protection activities between a client site and an MSP site, for example, backing up a client's VM to an MSP repository or recovering a VM from an MSP backup repository to a client environment, you must open a dedicated public TCP port for each MSP transporter. This configuration ensures that the client's Direct Connect transporter can communicate directly with the MSP transporters. You can configure this when adding or editing the MSP transporter or when assigning an MSP transporter to a local tenant during tenant creation or editing. To demonstrate how to do this in the NAKIVO web interface, let's add a new MSP transporter. Select the master tenant, then go to Settings greater than Nodes. Here, click the plus sign and select Installed Service. Then click More Options and check Enable Direct Connect for this node. Next, enter the public IP address and public TCP port of the MSP transporter. Make sure that both the IP address and port are publicly accessible. You can configure port forwarding if necessary. Click Add to complete the setup. After that, Assign the new MSP transporter to the local tenant. From this point on, the Direct Connect transporter in that tenant can communicate directly with the assigned MSP transporter. This configuration enables the user to perform data protection activities between the client site and the MSP site, including backups from the client to the MSP repository and recoveries from the MSP repository to the client environment. The Direct Connect whitelist is an optional security feature. When enabled, only Direct Connect transporters from specified IP addresses can connect to the MSP director. If no whitelist is configured, any Direct Connect transporter can connect to the MSP director as long as its config file contains matching values. You can configure the whitelist for each local tenant. To do this, select the tenant, then go to Settings, General, System Settings, open the Configuration tab and select Allow Direct Connect transporter connections from specific IP addresses only. The Settings link appears. Click Settings. In the Direct Connect Transporter IP Whitelist dialog, click the plus sign, enter the IP address you want to allow, and click Add. The IP address is added to the whitelist. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch new uploads. You can also download a free trial version of NAKIVO Backup and Replication using the link in the description and try the solution in your own environment for 15 days.